promoting dialogue.
It's midday in Dakar, 1 p.m. in Lagos. Good afternoon and welcome to West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and around the world on wadr.org. This is Newslink. First, our top stories. Authorities in Nigeria announced a new death toll of 153 fatalities and 3,000 displacements in Mokwa's deadly flood.
Although Mr. President is in Lagos, he has activated government agency to ensure that what needed to be done by government is done to bring succor to those who are living around that community.
Civil society in Senegal calls for urgent action to address the rising femicide cases in the country.
It is important for the government, I think, to pay really attention and stop paying lip service to the rights of women.
Guinea's Union of Republican Forces reconfirms Sidia Touré as leader despite the 8-factor ruled under the draft constitution. And WAEC Liberia uncovers malpractice scandal in ongoing West African senior school certificate examination. Please stay tuned for details of these stories and more.
Here is Abdullahi Hassan with Newslink.
Glad you could join us on this edition of Newslink, which begins in Nigeria as authorities in Niger State continue to provide humanitarian support to victims of the unprecedented floods that ravaged several communities last week. At the heart of the response is the State Emergency Management Agency, which on Sunday announced a revised death toll from the initial count of 60 fatalities. Currently, 153 people have been killed and more than 3,000 others displaced. Recent data from the Niger State Emergency Management Agency indicates that over 503 households have been submerged, affecting more than 3,000 people. These figures were confirmed by Deputy Governor Yusuf Garba during a visit by a delegation from the federal government over the weekend. From Abuja, Yechenu Sesatu reports.
A high-level delegation led by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, visited Mokwa to deliver President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's condolences to the affected families.
Although Mr. President is in Lagos, he has activated government agency to ensure that what needed to be done by government is done to bring succor to those who are living around that community. And in that direction, Mr. President has also asked the National Orientation Agency to immediately embark on sensitization campaign.
The flooding followed downpours on Wednesday into Thursday, which overwhelmed the town's infrastructure and forced widespread evacuations. Leading rescue and relief efforts, the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Zubaida Umar, said urgent relief materials are being distributed to affected households.
So far, we have food and non-food items available for them, and we also have a mobile clinic. We've also come with mobile water purifiers so that they can have access to clean water.
While scientists continue to link such extreme weather to climate change, the impact of floods in Nigeria is often worsened by poor infrastructure, inadequate urban planning, and inefficient waste management systems. Yechenu Sasetu, WADR News.
Now stay with us as Dr. Ibrahim Husseini, the Director of Informational Special Duties at the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, joins us in the guest interview segment. Meanwhile, here in Senegal, women's rights groups and civil society organizations are raising alarm over the rising cases of femicide in the country. According to the groups, 7 women have already been killed this year, a reflection of a growing gender-based violence and the lack of a firm government response. At a peaceful sitting over the weekend, the groups signed a memorandum demanding urgent legal reforms, including amendments to the family code and repeal of laws that discriminate against women. Christopher Teacher was there and filed in this report.
Clad in all-black attire, the national sit-in against femicide in Senegal saw citizens' participation whipped up against the heinous acts. Holding placards in solidarity for the 7 departed souls of femicide with inscription, misogyny kills, equality between women and men saves lives, let's fight against stereotype and amend the family code to save women among others. 22 women's rights groups and CSOs signed a memorandum to empower citizens to break the code of silence. The memorandum also called for the urgent amendment of the Family Code and the repeal of all legal provisions that discriminate against women. Country Director for Action Aid Senegal, Haïta Sela, expressed disappointment that the ongoing national dialogue is not even inclusive of women's affairs.
At the crucial moment when they're talking about dialogue, a national dialogue, that this is not at the center stage of that dialogue. I think women's rights are political rights. So it is important for the government, I think, to pay really attention and stop paying lip service to the rights of women.
Anta Babakar Ngom, a member of the opposition in parliament, called for unity among parliamentarians to pass the right laws in the best interest of citizens.
This should be the fight of everybody. It shouldn't just be the fight of women. So all these deputies from the parliament, we should unite and make sure that we vote the right laws. But let's take it forward, because we've been voting laws, but they're not being applicated, and that's the big issue.
The memorandum also called on the regional and international bodies, ECOWAS, African Union, United Nations, to call on the Senegalese authorities to uphold their human rights commitments, particularly regarding women's rights to life, security and dignity.
Christopher Teacher with that report. Still in Senegal, but with a focus on security, the army in a statement said it is stepping up efforts to combat illegal gold mining. This is after it dismantled more than 40 unauthorized mining sites in the month of May alone. These operations mainly took place in the eastern part of the country and led to the arrest of several dozen individuals. Imoradet completes the story.
In its latest crackdown, the Senegalese army is turning up the heat on illegal gold mining operations. According to the Armed Forces monthly bulletin, troops on the military zone number 4 led a major sweep through the east of the country, successfully dismantling 43 unauthorized mining sites. The coordinated military action unfolded across several hard-to-reach areas, including Buguda, Bantanko, Fagudu, Musala, Mura and Saraya, all located in the Faleme zone near the Malian border, a known hotspot for illicit gold activities. In the process, 47 individuals were arrested and a significant haul of mining equipment was seized. 77 motor pumps, dozens of motorcycles, power generators and other materials commonly used in illegal operations. The army says this intervention is part of a broader national strategy aimed at securing Senegal's borders and halting the uncontrolled exploitation of natural resources, particularly gold. Gold remains one of Senegal's most valuable exports. In the first half of 2024 alone, gold exports exceeded 137 billion CFA francs, representing nearly 30% of all extractive sector exports, according to a recent report by the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, 80. Authorities say the fight against illegal gold mining is far from over. It continues to threaten security and economic stability, particularly in the eastern regions.
A report by Imo Edet. In a similar development, no fewer than 30 people have been apprehended by the Ghana Police Service in 2 regions. Acting on directives from Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohuno, officers targeted known Galamsey hotspots, areas infamous for the environmental harm and disregard for public safety. WAD's Accra correspondent Nadedi Tete has more.
A total of 30 people are now behind bars following coordinated police raids on illegal mining sites in Ghana's western, Ashanti and central regions. The operations, which were ordered by the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohuno, form part of a strengthened campaign to clamp down on destructive Galamsey activities. In the western region's Honisu area, police arrested 13 suspects. The Takwa Circuit Court has remanded them, with their next court appearance scheduled for June 6. Up in the Ashanti region, officers led by ACP Joseph Vinyaba descended on a mining site located merely 200 meters from the Asare Bediako Senior High School in Akrokore near Obuasi. 9 individuals were detained after explosive materials found on site reportedly caused damage to school buildings. Meanwhile, in the central region's Dunkwa Onofin district, police under Superintendent David Ashong and ASP Emmanuel Bruce moved in on 2 men operating excavators along the banks of the River Ofin. Those suspects remain in custody as investigations proceed. Back in the western region at Wassa, Dadieso, a town plagued by deep pits dug perilously close to homes and roads, Chief Superintendent William Jabialu led 82 officers in an early morning assault. Several miners were arrested amidst densely treacherous terrain. The police then extended their sweep to Wassa, Japa, another notorious Galamsey enclave. There, officers destroyed over 135 Shamfang machines by fire, impounded a motorbike, and took 6 more suspects into custody despite challenging, mud-laden conditions. All 30 detainees are now assisting police with their enquiries and are expected to be formally charged in the coming days. The Ghana Police Service has announced that further operations will continue as part of an ongoing effort to eliminate illegal mining and protect Ghana's natural resources. For WDR, Nadidi Tete, Accra.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Many thanks for staying with us. To some politics now in Guinea, the Union of Republican Forces, UFR, has reaffirmed Sidia Touré as party leader during its Congress held last Friday. Touré, a former prime minister from 1996 to 1999, is currently in exile in Côte d'Ivoire but received overwhelming support from delegates. The party is expected to resume its political activities soon. However, Touré's potential candidacy in the upcoming elections is now in question. A recently published draft constitution includes a clause that bars individuals aged 80 and above from contesting the presidency, a provision that directly affects Touré, who is currently 80. The UFR has swiftly reacted, with the party's communications officer, Fode Balde, criticizing the proposed restriction, calling it a targeted move to exclude strong contenders from the race.
Over 53,000 senior high students across Liberia are writing this year's WAS examinations, expected to end on June 10, 2025.
We believe there was no need to publish the draft constitution. By definition, a draft is not yet a formal proposal and doesn't warrant publication. This move reflects a lack of professionalism, and we hope steps will be taken to correct that. On the issue of the age limit, the question is simple. Are we saying older citizens no longer have the right to participate in national decisions? That they can't exercise their civil and political rights? That would be a serious violation of democracy and human rights. We strongly reject that idea. It's essential to create the conditions for elections that are inclusive, credible, and transparent. The UN and African Union currently in Guinea have also reminded the authorities of the importance of inclusivity. They've observed attempts to silence key candidates capable of turning the country around, a move that risks placing the nation in the hands of a small, self-serving group. We remain calm, but we expect the right conditions to be established so that we can head into transparent and inclusive elections.
Fode Balde is communications officer for the Union of Republican Forces in Guinea. To some troubling news on the educational front in Liberia, the West African Examination Council WAEC has uncovered a cheating scheme involving impersonators and alleged collusion by school officials in the ongoing West African Senior School Certificate Examination. WAEC, Liberia's regional head, Dale Butu, expressed deep concern about the breach of integrity, emphasizing that such actions threaten the future of Liberian students and the credibility of the examination process. From Monrovia, Abraham Parker reports.
Over 53,000 senior high students across Liberia are writing this year's WAS examinations, expected to end on June 10, 2025. But the process has been marred by a cheating scandal. WAEC Liberia head Daboto confirmed that 6 individuals comprising 2 impersonators, 2 supervisors, and 2 examiners have been handed over to the Liberia National Police for investigation. The impersonators discovered had submitted answer scripts mixed with those of genuine candidates, a tactic meant to avoid detection. Mr. Boto further explained that although WAEC has deployed around 379 supervisors, and over 800 examiners nationwide, the individuals involved were now officially assigned to the affected centers, suggesting the operation was highly organized.
There are people that were hired to assist with the administration of the exam. The two impersonators went at one school to take a test for somebody who was sent to win the test. With the acquiescence of the school authorities, they went in a dark room and they sat there and they've been doing the test from day one.
WAEC says it is treating the case as organized crime and has vowed to pursue thorough investigations. The council says all offenders will be held accountable and new safeguards will be introduced to protect the integrity of future exams.
This is a syndicate. To see our educational system improve, we should not be involved in such. If we start teaching our kids that the best way to succeed is to cheat, then what kind of attitude are we instilling in them? Should we be surprised or should we be disappointed if they are corrupt tomorrow?
Meanwhile, some Liberians are calling on WAEC to publicly name the individuals involved, believing such transparency could serve as a powerful deterrent. For Newslink on WADR, Abraham Parker, Monrovia.
Well, still in Liberia, the National Health Primary Center has announced the Public Health Institute has confirmed 69 active cases of mpox as of May 31, 2025, but no deaths have been recorded. In response, the institute has rolled out new protective measures and is urging the public to avoid close contact with symptomatic individuals, maintain proper hygiene, and seek immediate medical attention if symptoms arise. MPHA Islet says it remains on high alert as it works to contain the spread of the viral disease. You are listening to Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and online live at wadr.org. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Authorities in Nigeria announced a new death toll of 153 fatalities and 3,000 displacements in Mokwa's deadly flood. Civil society in Senegal calls for urgent action to address the rising femicide cases in the country. Guinea's Union of Republican Forces reconfirms Sidia Touré as leader despite age factor under the draft constitution. WAEC Liberia uncovers a cheating scandal in ongoing West African senior school certificate examination. Still adding the news, the Togolese government marks National Tree Day with a renewed commitment to combating deforestation. We also have the press review, guest interview, and sports news. Please stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time. Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
As global warming is projected to rise between 2025 and 2029, according to a recent report by the World Meteorological Organization, WMO, the Togolese government marked its National Tree Day on Sunday with a renewed commitment to combating deforestation. The day, observed annually since 1977, serves as a reminder for all citizens to contribute to environmental protection. This celebration also saw the official launch of the 2025 National Reforestation Campaign. Here is Sylvie Ouedraogo's report presented by Francis Boniface.
The 48th edition of Togo's National Tree Day was marked by tree planting activities across the country, an initiative aimed at reversing the impact of deforestation. Here is Mayor Kosi Abuka.
When we look around the world today, climate and environmental issues are front and center. That's why we went out once again to plant trees, part of our commitment to making Togo a country that meets global environmental standards and maintains its place among nations.
Mayor Kosi Abuka further stressed that the fight against deforestation is a long-term effort. He emphasized that after trees are planted, taking care of them is equally important to ensure lasting results.
Often, after trees are planted, you return a few months later and find none left, simply because there's no maintenance. To change that, we introduced tricycles equipped with watering systems. These go around every morning and evening to water the seedlings. It's helped ensure their survival, and today, we are seeing the results. Wherever we've planted and maintained them with this system, the environment is thriving. Protecting the environment is essential to achieving sustainable living.
Togo's Minister of Environment and Forest Resources, Katari Bazi, revealed that over 11 billion CFA francs have been mobilized for the 2025 reforestation campaign. He said the initiative seeks to restore the country's forest cover in a sustainable way. According to the minister, more than 37.7 million seedlings are expected to be planted over 34,563 hectares, with the total targeted area reaching nearly 114,000 hectares. Bazi noted that these numbers far exceeded the original targets and commended what he described as a patriotic and ecologically responsible effort by Togolese citizens.
Francis Boniface there will report filed in by WADR's Lome correspondent Sylvie Wadr.
This is the newspaper review. Stay abreast and find out what the top stories are in your country.
This is the newspaper review.
The newspaper review.
Press review is up next with Ichenu Sasetu providing us a summary of major headlines on the front pages of national dailies. Across the board, the Mokwa floods remain a major discussion.
Hello, these are the major headlines in Nigeria today. Beginning with this day newspaper, Niger flood disaster. Turkey condoles federal government, and forming part of this headline is Buhari, Akpabio mourn 122 lives lost in deluge, Kanu auto crash. Down in the business section, Dangote refinery symbolizes hope for Africa. Founder has continental vision, and that is coming from ECOWAS. We move to Guardian with a similar story from ECOWAS endorsing Dangote refinery as petroleum supply backbone. But the leading story is of Wole Soyinka praising Amici for giving Tinubu a dose of his own medicine. And in sports, Chelle, the Nigerian Super Eagles coach, identifies loopholes as Eagles prepare for Russia friendly. And very quickly to Vanguard, leading story is federal government gas-powered vehicle runs into major hitch nationwide. And below that is the story that Nigeria has been affected as Saudi Arabia suspends block work visa. And over to the Nation newspaper, NCC gives e-health facility to Ondo Hospital, while doctors give federal government 4-week ultimatum to address demand. And those are happenings in the health sector, bringing us to the end of the press review. Back to the studio.
Ichenu Sasetsu with the press review.
Politics,
analysis on major news,
social matters, and all. This is a guest.
Our guest is the Director of Information and Special Duties of the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, Dr. Ibrahim Hussaini. Dr. Hussaini tells WADR about his organization's response to the Mokwa deadly floods, provides an update on the immediate needs of the affected people, and says more about the state government's plan to assist victims and residents in rebuilding their lives. According to him, Mokwa is an agrarian community and a major transit hub connecting the south and northern parts of Nigeria, as well as sits on a meeting point for two major rivers Niger and Kaduna.
On behalf of the state government, as soon as the incident happened, we have our next officers there and some of our volunteers, and they swung into action. Then they were joined by the team of staff from the headquarters there in Mina. We quickly invite or alert our response partners, the NEMA, the Red Cross, the IOM, NGOs, the police and the security outfit that we have, the youth organization in town, and the leaders, including other NGOs. And we swung into action. And as at present, we have buried, from our record, 150 people have lost their life. And then we have about over 3,000 population that are directly or indirectly affected. We have over 504 households that were affected. And we have about 5 communities that are affected. We have communities that are even out of Mokwa town.
So over 3,000 people affected, directly or indirectly. What are some of their immediate needs that NASEMA, in collaboration with partners, have so far provided for, and what is still lacking?
Immediate need is shelter. We have opened a camp for them in Mokwa town. NEMA has also provided them with food and non-food items. The state government has also provided them with food items. Other well-meaning individuals, NGOs, and charities have been bringing food. There is a committee put in place who receive this on behalf of the people. We also have some places who have donated cash because the government has opened an account for the victims. The deputy governor was here on Saturday, including the DG NEMA, to come and take on the spot assessment and coordinate the people on behalf of the government. The federal government has also sent a delegation to the state, led by a Minister of Information and also Minister of Humanitarian. So we are working around the clock to ensure that these people are back on their feet and the normal return to their lives so that they can go back to their farm.
Despite the fact that this unprecedented flooding or disaster is overwhelming first responders, including NASEMA, there's been enough support from the community in terms of humanitarian response. But we know each time there is flood, you also fear the far-reaching effect, which may be health and, of course, environmentally damaging. What is the response like? I mean, because, of course, you fear water contamination and spread of diseases like cholera.
So it's a flash flood that came through combination every torrential rainfall that lasted for so many hours and from different channels now moves reach a particular joint and begin to move to the state in heavy speed, that is to the town with heavy speed and cause this havoc. So if you come now, there is no any water, maybe water-logged area that is being logged by water, and so every place is already dry. And if not for the others that are destroyed, you will not see the trace of this. So the time of contamination there is a bit minimal. Though the Ministry of Health is here because we have the major state emergency response team, and it comprises of all this allocation to what happens to take care of those that the children that are affected and are going to school, the Ministry of Health, those that are sick, and those to prevent disaster from the spread of disease or any outbreak. We have the security that are coordinating the place and managing, and they provide security to those that are in the camp, and even the environment. So you have no military because some of the people property are outside, so you have no looting. We also have the Ministry of Humanitarian that providing social support to those that are affected because of the traumatic experience they have. Because by the time you have the 5, 6, or 3 of your persons lost to this unfortunate incident, you must be traumatic. So people that provide that social support to manage the trauma, we have people from the Ministry of Women Affairs and also the social welfare workers that are here.
Well, talking about all hands on deck, let me ask again, Mr. Piero, at least this community, Mokwa and others around Niger State are mostly agrarian in nature, plus they also have fishermen, and this flood for these people have washed away their farmlands and livestock. How long will it take the state to help these people rebuild or regain balance?
It will not take the state long because we have different sectors in the state that are handling, not one. So it is not cumbersome. Each one, we have Minister of Agri and we have a Minister of Wildlife and Fisheries that are taking care of that. So each person is working. Minister of Health, Minister of Education, Minister of Environment, the security outfit, you have Minister of Humanitarian too in the state, and so many other organizations. So that it will not take long because the governor has given his support and has provided what is everybody's requirement to be able to manage his own side of the disaster, so that you work collectively and you bring a solution. It's not one person work.
Dr. Ibrahim Hussaini is the Director of Information and Special Duties of the Niger State Emergency Management Agency. In the world of sports, Pyramids of Egypt survived late pressure to beat Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa 2-1 in Cairo on Sunday and win the CAF Champions League for the first time, competing in the Premier African Club competition for only the second time. Pyramids triumphed 3-2 on aggregate after the first leg was drawn 1-1 in Pretoria last weekend. And that's it on sports. And that's how we conclude this edition of Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you for listening, and many thanks to Fali Lusso and Umo Daniogo for the technical support. Do interact with us via social media platforms, X, Instagram, @WADR News, and on Facebook, WADR English Service. Coming up at the bottom of the hour is a replay of WADR's health program in English, World Body. I'm Abdullahi Hassan. Good afternoon.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM, New EMI FM 94.0,
Hilltop Radio 104.7 FM,
and Veritas Radio 102.9 in Banjul, the Gambia. We also appreciate our listeners in Liberia via Alternative Youth Radio 98.9 FM, Lofa County,
Radio Kagama 94.5 FM, Nibe County, DCN Radio 91.3 FM, Riverside County, Wakat FM Radio, Banga, Liberia, Radio Baf FM 91.3 Sierra Leone.
For you listening via Radio Pad 95.1 Damango, Savannah